In this video we're going to talk about how to square a bracket. Again, as I said in the previous video, it's following on the video I did on multiplying out brackets. This is really aimed at those who've finished GCSE and preparing for A-level, and it's essential skills really. And it's not just, sometimes I say it's not really just the being able to do something, it's being able to do confidently, quickly and accurately. And that's what we're aiming for here, rather than kind of pedestrian methods that you might have used before. So squaring brackets, we already know, suppose we just want to look at the general case, a plus b squared. Now, we've already seen what, that you can multiply these things out. There's basically a plus b times a plus b. We've already seen that, because of the way multiplication works, the distributive law of multiplication, well, that's a times a plus b plus b times a plus b, which comes to a squared plus ab plus ba plus b squared. Of course, it's not necessary to write all this stuff, and so people have different ways of going about this with grids or whatever. AB, and b squared. Okay, so that comes to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now this is an important special case. So really, when I'm looking at my A-level students, I don't really want them to be doing smiley faces or grids or whatever when they're squaring a bracket, because we have to do it so frequently and so quickly that we really want quicker ways of doing things. I often say, if you had a 9-year-old multiplying 7 times 3 and you started seeing them using the fingers, you might say, well, you ought to know your times tables. And this is a similar kind of thing. So let's just do a few examples. Suppose we want to do x plus 3 squared using this rule here. Instead of just doing it from scratch by doing this kind of thing, or smiley faces, foil or whatever, we just slot it into here. So we have the first bit squared, 2 times that, so that's 2 times x times 3, so that's 6x, plus 3, which is 9 squared, so which is 9, not 9 squared of course, 3 squared, which is 9. So notice this is double this number here. In this case, that's going to be useful when we come to completing the square in later work. So that is double that, because this is there. Let's do another one. X plus 6 squared. Well, again, x squared, and it's double that number times that, 2ab, so that's 6 times 2 times x, which is 12x, and that squared, which is 36. Of course, we sometimes have a different number, so we might have 2x plus 5 squared, say. Then be careful, and you might choose to take a careful approach here and do 2x squared plus 2 times 2x times 5, putting everything into this, plus b squared, which is 5 squared. But even then, we really ought to be able to do that without writing all that stuff. So I'm going to get rid of that. 2x squared is 4x squared. And then 2 times that times that. That times that is 10x, double that, which is 20x. And then we have 5 squared, which is 25. Okay. So that is how I want to see you squaring out brackets, folks, when you are preparing for A-level. I don't want to see, and frankly I see it too often, well, the worst case is this, squaring just bit and forgetting the middle term. That's wrong. So, not good. Yeah, very wrong. Okay, so we don't want to see that. But almost equal, well, it's not equally as bad, but I also don't like seeing really pedestrian approaches to this, which might be something like, I don't know, something like this. Every year I ask people to explain to me what the smiley face does. I don't know if it's, I don't know. Is that it? And you multiply them out and we get 2x and all this stuff. And then you get 2x times 2x. And then a 2x times a 5. And then a 5 times a 2x. And then a 5 times a 5. You get the picture. This is just too slow. Of course you're going to get there, but at this level we want to get things quickly, so I really encourage you to use this. Right, before we start the next video, I would also maybe rewrite this for when we have a negative. Okay, suppose we had a minus b squared. A minus b squared. Okay, which is again replacing a with b with minus b here. We have a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Let's just change the colour of that just to be consistent. So for example, we want to, when we're looking at something with a negative in, it's 3x minus 7 squared. Same idea, square that, that's 9x squared. Don't forget to square the 3. These two multiplied together, which is 21, but double it, and because we've got a negative, that's minus 42x. And then this squared, but don't forget it's positive, of course, because negative 7 squared is 49. 49. Let's do another one. 6x minus 3 squared. You just square that, that's 36x squared. Those two multiplied together are 18x, double that, that's also 36, but it's minus 36x. Minus 3 squared, 9. Again, this special case used. Okay, and this is something that you really do need to be up on for all kinds of things when we come on to completing the square and when we use surds. It's quite important that we can do this quickly, fluently and confidently. So let us do a surd example now. Suppose, for example, we want to square, I don't know, square root of 2 plus 1 squared. So there we square the 2, the square root of 2, so that's that. Double square root of 2 times 1 is square root of 1, but that's 2 times the square root of 2. And then 1 squared is 1. Let's write it as 1 squared for now. So then we can see that this is 2, because square root of 2 squared is 2. So that's 3 plus 2, the square root of 2. Okay, let's do another one. Square root of 7 minus the square root of 3, all squared. Square root of 7, I'm probably writing more than I need to here, but let's do it anyway. Square root of 7, take away, because it's the minus case, double times square root of 7 square root of 3, plus the square root of 3 squared. That's 7, that's 3, that's 10, minus 2 times the square root of 7 times by the square root of 3, square root of 21. If you thought that was a bit quick, it's kind of the speed you're looking for when we're working with this. We don't want to rush, but we just want to be working confidently with our expressions and with search. So that's just one example. Another one where we're going to need to be able to square things quickly and confidently is completing the square, which will come a little bit later. Okay, hope you found that useful. Bye.